and the ways of making sure that we transfer technology.
Yeah.
And these guys learn, okay, and through they got to learn, develop not only technical, develop financial. Because the more you work with me as either a subcontractor or as a partner, and you get your money and you plow back, that's another thing.
Yeah.
You continue to, because if you make this money and do another business, you're not going to grow the business,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that we did as a company is that we grew Baywood for so long, not doing any other business except this, before we began to look elsewhere to diversify. Now we're in technology, okay? We're going into media, we're going into e-commerce, we're going into fintech, and all under one umbrella of what we call the company called CBI Technology and CBI Digital Media Technology, all right? A combination of all these things is going to set Africa again on another part, on another level when it comes to entertainment, financial technology, e-commerce market, and digital media. You couldn't do it when we were just growing, when we didn't have the financial muscle.
Yeah,
if you do it, because you need to build the flagship. That's why I call Baywood Content our flagship.
Yeah.
All right. Most of these investments that we have made in other companies is coming from Baywood Content. That God may have it. We're not borrowing so much, so we are not really heavily leveraged as a company, right? Because one thing is for certain. Whatever you borrow, you must pay.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Whatever you borrow, man, be careful.
We're already having that situation in Kampala, in Uganda.
If you don't pay, nah, if you don't pay, then you're gone.
Yeah.
You're done. So I don't take money that I don't need. Okay? So this is a clear message.
That's a big lesson, eh?
Yeah.
You don't take money that you don't need.
What we call sport charter.
Yeah.
You know, people will come and take us for 1 day, 2 days, 1 week. That's how we were running. Yeah. We were not making money. We're just waiting in anticipation to make the land the big project. Yeah. But it was being supported by Baywood Continental. Yeah. So, and that's one of the things, when Baywood Continental business began to decline, because of the decline in oil activities in Nigeria, the helicopter operation was affected.
Because it had not yet built to that level.
Because we have not built
to that level.
To that, and we have done it for 8 years, waiting for, because these contracts it takes a while to come, all right? And this one service as well we can provide here, the helicopter service, because I see the distance in oil and gas, so I ask myself, who are the operators here? So these are the kind of things that Baywood Group can as well bring to Uganda, because we have had that experience over time in Nigeria.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, Emperor Baywood, a man of many colors. And now we're talking about some really big things here on the CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okela, and before we break, Emperor, we want to go back to the moment you loved so much. When I interacted with you, keep talking about, I'm a social activist, I'm a youth, empowerment driver, leader in Africa. Let's talk about that as we wind up.
Yes, I'm very passionate about that.
Why the youth?
They're the future. I don't care, but they're the future. It's not only in Nigeria, the youth are the future. It's like you have a family, you have children. They are going to take over you. If you insist that your children will remain children as they are, they will revolt. And they can even plan to kill you.
Yeah. And in some incidences, it has happened.
Oh, yes. Yes. In some instances.
We're seeing that in Europe.
I'm so passionate about it, because one of the things what drove me into that is, again, philanthropy comes with, there must be something must strike the chord. Something struck the chord for me. And that thing gave way to my philanthropic nature. And I began to preach it, I began to talk about it, I began to say, listen, unless these guys, we're in automation age, right? This time we're in automation age. And one of the studies I did is, why do we have our fathers and our grandfathers still as the dominant players in our political life, our political lives? Why are they not allowing the young ones to come up? And the world is fast moving away from the old generation to the young generation, but the Africans are still holding it firmly to their chest. Yeah. And I think it's time that we have to rise up. And I started championing it. I went around Africa. I've been everywhere with my Baywood Foundation, preaching about the youth. I don't call it anymore youth empowerment, investment.
Youth investment.
Yes, you have to invest in your youth. You have to make your youth to be employable, because today most youths in Africa are not even employable because we believe so much in certificates, right?
Other than substance of skill.
Other than substance of skill.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, without downplaying education, without downplaying educational qualifications like going to universities and everything, but I think we have to again consider vocational training, skill training, exposing them to the realities of life, not just stay in the classroom and theorize, okay, and they come out and they look like they are lost, okay, because most of our universities are not equipped to expose them to such realities of the world, okay? Even in the Western world, where you are exposed to a lot of, maybe you have a very well set up laboratories, you have maybe process facilities, but at the end of the day, it's modular. Yeah. It's not natural. Yeah. When you go out there to work, you see that it's a different kind of fish. Yeah. So I think the way to go for me, one of the things I've been preaching is that we need to get these youths to understand that the future belongs to them, and begin to reorientate their mind. One of the things I try to do very well is reorientating their mind, their mindset. Because who are their mentors? Who are the people they're looking up to? Politicians. And if you look at the lifestyle of our politicians, it's a bit deceitful. Yeah. It's not real. Yeah. It's imaginary. Everybody wants to be a politician. For example, in Nigeria today, if you ask a young kid what they want to be, it's only a politician. Why? Because you see them the way they spend money, the way they live their lifestyle, the way they do things. But those things don't have base. They have no solid base. Yeah. Take them out of that political scene, 1 year down the line, you won't like to see them again. So we need to lecture, we need to talk to them and let them understand that it's a reset, mindset reset. Let them understand that even that guy who is living large as a politician, they didn't start yesterday. Honestly, for you to succeed in life, regardless of whatever area you find yourself, time, it has to be, you must have spent a lot of time in doing that before you begin to reap the dividends. The dividends don't come overnight. But you see, because of the values, we have lost our values so much so in Africa. I don't know. I think we have lost our values. So the values today is we want to make money today. Okay, I told you the story of me and if my father did not come to reset my value, I would have been gone. I want to be richer than my brother. Yeah.
You wanted to be richer than your brother, who was already rich, and you are learning
who's been working, doing business all this time. Yeah. And I just came out from school. Yeah. And I want to be richer than my brother. Yeah. It's not bad to be, my uncle said, it's not bad to be a shoemaker. What is bad is making bad shoes. Do you hear that?
Yeah, yeah, right.
So it's not bad to be ambitious, but it's bad to be over ambitious. Yes. You just have to be ambitious for you to succeed in life.
So it's not bad to be a shoemaker?
It's not bad to be a shoemaker. What is bad is making bad shoes.
Bad shoes.
When you are a good shoemaker, you can become a designer shoemaker. Yeah. And everybody will come to you and flock to you, right? Yes. But when you're a bad shoemaker,
and Emperor Chris,
and everybody want to be like, and everybody will be envious of you. Yeah, yeah. But when you're a bad shoemaker, you know what people do? Ah, that man, leave him. He don't know anything what to do. Yeah. He doesn't know what he's doing. Forget him. But when you are now a good shoemaker, you begin to export. Yeah. You become everybody's darling, and people want to emulate you. Yeah. So I tell you something, it's good to be ambitious, but it's not good to be over-ambitious. Wow. Because when you're over-ambitious, you might do that one that might land you in jail so quickly. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So,
that will be the end of you.
Then that will be the end of you. So, it's one step at a time, Johnny Walker. Yeah. Johnny Walker says, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. Yeah. But you know what? That step does not guarantee you are going to reach to that destination. Yeah. Continuous working will ensure you get to that stage. So, I think that as we grow older, we must encourage our young people, reorientate them, reorientate their values, reset their value set, their value systems. Yes. So that they see
the value belief system.
The value belief system, so that they begin to see that there's dignity in labor. A good number of us don't believe anymore in dignity in labor. All right, they just want to. Maybe people trying to, leave the country, either they're crossing one blue ocean or crossing one dry desert to get to the so-called promised land. Who says it's a promised land? So our leaders, again, need to make our environment very conducive for our young ones. Yeah. And then if you don't have any nation without young people, it's a doomed nation. Yeah. And Africa is so proud to have this young burgeoning population. Yeah. What do? You have to make conscious effort. Like I keep telling them, we wrote a book, Baywood Foundation. It's called Beyond Rhetoric. And we initiated something called Intern and Return. What do I mean by intern and return? When you train these young lads and give them opportunities to be interns in various locations, okay? And government sets aside what they call internship fund to pay them while they are doing the internship in all spheres of life. That is one sure way to stimulate their knowledge, stimulate their appetite, and begin to see things differently. So, and it's a policy. As a matter of fact, what we ask for in that book is a declaration, affirmative action. Yeah. We ask for 35% affirmative action across all Africa on youths. And what do I mean by affirmative action on youths? In other words, here in Uganda, for example, I've seen young women and young people in positions of authority. So what we advocate for is that this affirmative action needs to be legislated and gazetted and endorsed. As a matter of fact, the African Union, when we met with them, endorsed it, and what they needed was to just meet with the various legislative assemblies across the 54 African nations and see how they can buy into this thing and adopt an internal return initiative. And Baywood Foundation, in partnership with African Union, have promised to put the initial seed money to do such initiatives and kickstart it. And one other way to stimulate the youth, I said, is to have an endowment fund or prize money or prize award for youths across Africa that have achieved in various spheres of life. Because these guys have achieved. Have you identified them? Because when you begin to reward these young ones and appreciate them and consider them as part of the main society, because what is happening today, like if you would see what is going on in Nigeria today, there's almost a youth revolution because they are tired, okay? Because they're not part of the system. They're not meant to be part of the system. These guys have emasculated them from the system. They are taking hold of everything. If you look at throughout the length and breadth of Africa, look at our presidents. They are all in their 80s, okay? Are they more smarter now? No. Are they in tune with the technology? No. Are they thinking about how to move the country or the nation forward or the continent forward? No. Can they be more radical? No. Because we need radicalism in a bit of things we do to change, to reset the continent, okay? I was listening to a program where some young lads in Europe were pushing for Macron to stop the ECO project in Uganda. What do they know about Africa? So if we have a very united, formidable African Union that can come up with a very big voice and say, listen, can you even keep your money? We don't need your money. Yeah. We donate funds and have a pool of funds where we can tap into to develop our natural resources. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. So Intern and Return Initiative for African youth is what Baywood Foundation is still advocating, because that's the only way we can put Africa and make them to be a continent to be sought after. We have the smart youth, we have very intelligent youth, we have youth tech savvy. If you come to Nigeria today, one of the things that is raving is tech startups. These tech startups are young ones. 20, 25, 30, coming out with different, genuine ideas. What they need is a little pep, and that's what do you call this little pep? Like what we did in the program with Coca-Cola. The first time that Baywood Foundation ever got grant was Coca-Cola giving us $100,000 to do a program we call Youth ICT and Skill Acquisition Project, YISAP. You can go to our website, Baywood Foundation, and find YISAP, YISAP. What we do was to gather youths from all parts of the state and train them in different skills. Okay? We have certain set skills we train them in those skills, and give them, and then on the final day, they exhibited their skills. They produced those things that they did, they created those things that they did, and it became and displayed their wares in the market, and people bought them, right? But in doing that, we gave them some seed funds to start off.
Not just saying go and start this,
So
go and start this.
Out of 600 or 1,000 people that were trained in different skills, we selected 100 or 200 people that were given seed money. So this is what I'm saying. in every society, if you don't make such policies and drive those policies down, and it has to be driven by a youth, not when you set up a commission like that, you go and get some guy that's 80 years to manage. No, you got to be a youth of 30 who will drive the stage, because these guys, they're thinking differently from the way we're thinking today, and they're tech savvy. Listen, they can, when even you go agro-based, they can do a lot of things with agro, okay? Deploying technology, deploying skills. We're talking about large-scale farming. They can even do green farming, greenhouse farming. Yeah. And the greenhouse farming, no, you don't need even a large footprint to do a greenhouse, okay? But you produce as much, and even well-controlled environment. You produce as much healthy fruits and agro-based products than you would have done using massive agro-based. Of course, you need to do mechanized farming. But you know what? Get these guys to buy into the future, and it has to be driven by their own people. And what we're saying about intern and return is that even in National Assembly, wherever you have somebody like a 50-year-old guy, you need to bring someone like a 30-year-old guy to understudy him. Yes. And in understanding him, you're paying him from the internship fund, okay? That thereafter is either he continues with what he is doing as an intern, or he goes out. By then, he would have made he would have gained knowledge, he would have made contact, he would have had his own network group and all stuff like that. So this is what we're thinking, and this is the way to really, really develop the African youth. And this is what Beirut Foundation is all about, championing for over 17 years. You know, and it's born out of passion. It's about us speaking, because I know that if you don't have a safe environment, you can be as rich as you are, but if your neighbor is not happy, is not hungry, you are unsafe. So create a safe environment by making sure that people around you, and that's why my role model was Nelson Mandela, and that's why I love his quote. He said, it's not about how long you lived on earth, but how much you have impacted on lives of people. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not about how successful you are. So for me, I think one of the things that I pride myself for is that you don't need to have billions to be a philanthropist, right? I did it, and I found the secret to success. It's giving. And it's not about how much you give. It's about how you're able to get people to have a reset and begin to think differently. So I'm a proponent of that we have to bring our youth forward, both in politics, in all spheres of life, in business, but you need to train them. You need to create funds in everything we do, and we don't carry these young guys along. Someday will come, and they will rise up against us. And you know what? When we had NSAS in Nigeria, and it was in Lagos, I don't know if you read about NSAS. Yes. By the special grace of God, I'm one of the bourgeois, right? Yeah. In Lagos and Nigeria. Yeah. I was so afraid of myself. I was so afraid of everything around me. Because when an eruption like that engulfs, they don't know who's speaking for them. They don't know. It's like you are one of the oppressors. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can become a target that you shouldn't have been. So why don't we nip this situation on the board before it balloons? Okay, and out of control. So there was a lot of destruction, and they were going after the rich people. These rich people. And who are these rich people? It could have been a Baywood who had worked all his life, trying to make money legitimately, not being involved in any scam, not being involved in anything that is illicit, okay? And then even giving back to the society. But my dear brother, when a situation like that occurs,
it's indiscriminatory.
It's indiscriminatory
because they're not thinking.
Yeah, they're not thinking. Yeah. Everybody's a target, and I don't want to be that because I will regret it. So my position is, the earlier we nip the situation on board, the better for everybody, and together we can make Africa forward and move this nation, this continent, to where we expect it to be. We can't do it. We need these guys. But we need to reorientate their values. We need to reset their values, because the values is completely eroded right now. And in doing so, we need to reorientate ourselves again. Our value system is no more.
Ladies and gentlemen, Emperor Chris Beirut Ibe, thank you very much. This has been one of the most powerful interviews that we've done on the CEO bench. And as we depart from here, question, in a second, tell us a joke. a joke that has ever been given about your name, Emperor, and how you reacted to it, if at all? And give us one African proverb from Nigeria.
Well, I don't know. You see, people think that I just woke up and became emperor. That's okay, no problem. But it's a story for another day. But I always tell you, if you want to know about the emperors, that's a book you need to go and read. It's called God, Pope, and Emperor. So you know the origin of emperor.
Wow.
God, Pope, and Emperor. So,
Yeah.
one thing about this connotes royalty, and if you want to be an emperor, you have to live up to it, right? You have to live up to it. So, I think I'm living up to my title, emperor, and I make good to say that unless you visit me in Nigeria, you may not know that I'm a true emperor. And I'm a benevolent emperor, because emperors are known for draconian rules and the Gestapo style of doing things. I am not that one. I'm this benevolent emperor. Emperors don't talk about giving back. So I could better be described as a refined emperor who talks for the people, especially the downtrodden and the young people. So that's what I should be remembered. One of the things I want to be remembered for when I'm gone is, how many lives have you touched? It's not how much money I have. No. It's not how much. Are you the biggest billionaire in the world? No. Yes, even if I'm the biggest billionaire, but how much lives have I touched? And that's my prayer, that as God continues to bless us in what we do, we have to leave our footsteps on the sands of times, so that I'll be counted amongst those who help to alleviate poverty. I have to touch lives. And you know what it means to shake a young man who never thought that he could come close to you. That's mentorship, right? And they wouldn't touch you unless you get close to them, right? So you must break that barrier so that they come close to you, make yourself available, that they can come and talk to you. Something happened during the conference in Uganda where I participated. A lot of youths came to me, a lot of young ones, because of my contribution. I couldn't just carry on like Emperor Chris Baywood, but I was ready to mingle. I was ready to talk with them. I was ready to impart this knowledge and get them to be to be appreciated. And you know, they felt so happy that, oh, wow, this guy, so he's accessible. Just say, how are you? How you doing? What are you doing? Blah blah blah. You know, these things, they go a long way to helping and motivate people. So it's why I am a motivational speaker. Put me on the table there, and I'll teach the young lads how to turn things around.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO bench has come to an end. Edio Killer, Emperor Chris Baywood Ibe, all the way from Enugu State in Nigeria, the federal state of Nigeria. We want to say thank you very much. Until next time, we're saying bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Emperor, for coming.
was like the Psalms. When you look at David, he's passing through hard things, but then he's willing to talk about them. So music allowed me to be real, authentic. To God, he uses song to minister to me. So it was more, it's personal, I can relate to it, and he's helping me overcome through that, to be able to be used as that vessel that delivers this message, which I know that I've just borrowed from heaven.
Cast down for my soul. Why don't you hold
My music statement is to write music that will be able to speak to the heart, soul, and spirit, restoring the goodness. You know, when in the Bible it says, and he looked at it and it was good. The message that I have, there are 10 songs. They will be specifically invoking that God has already said, that we have to embrace as his image, to restore goodness in this world. Music is not what defines you. For me, that was a great revelation, that my identity is more in God, in who God calls me. If I can inspire you also to use your gifts and talents to make a difference, I would have played my part in this world.
I will rise and rise. Now is the time. Rise and praise you, Lord.
My name is Eddie Okila. My life is about documenting other people's lives. A few weeks and months ago, I walked into a village as a consultant of Mandaluy's Energy. And on our journey, we met this lady whose dreams stream back, way back to 1972 when she was young. Today, she has a school. Many of you people out there wanted to be part of her story. But how do you be part of a story you don't know? Perhaps we get to know Nyamungo Ellen together. Take with me and journey with me to the journey and to the road trips and to the bumpy roads of life that springs from 1972 to the 60-plus-year-old woman who now has a school, a girl whose dream was realized at 55. Ladies and gentlemen, all across the world, dreams don't die, dreams do live. And this is Nyamungo Ellen. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
We are happy to see you, Director.
Thank you very much.
How is your life in this village?
My life is good.
The last time we were here, you were very happy. Are you still happy?
I'm still happy.
What makes you happy every day?
You are coming here makes me so happy.
Okay.
because that thing has not happened in my life. People coming here every day, coming to see my school. Even the district people doesn't come as you used to come.
Why do you think they don't come like that? Like they used to come?
Mostly this district people doesn't mind of private schools. They recognize primary schools better than the private schools.
Okay. Today, Ellen,
Yes,
we
please.
will call you Auntie Ellen, Jaja Ellen, because you are. We want to go back to knowing you. Who is Ellen Nyamungu?
I'm Helen Nyamungu, who came from West Nile, particularly it is now Zumbu district. The sub-county is Alangi sub-county, and then the parish is Pasai parish.
And we know Ellen. Take me through to Ellen, who was a child. What was growing up like?
I was not growing in a good life, but I came up in hard life. My dream was I want at least to start a school. That was my dream when I was still young.
Okay. I want you to tell us a little bit more about when you were still young and when you had a dream and what happened to your dream when you were young.
When I was young, I was very active in everything in the school. I can sing, I can dance, I can do everything. And teachers liked me so much. And they thought that I will bring something in the future. That is what the teachers were telling me. And my dream was when I will grow up, I should have a school and I should also drive. But I think for driving it is now too late. But my dream for school is still there.
Why do you say your dream for driving is dead when the dream for school is still alive?
I'm now very old.
But you have just done the school. It means it is possible.
I don't know. If God wishes, maybe it can be possible.
So you are in school and teachers like you so much, or they liked you so much.
Yes.
And when you were young, let's talk about the school life. You ended up somewhere from Zombo to Lira, from Lira to Oyam, from Oyam now in Noya district. One would wonder, what is Nyamungu Ellen looking for?
When I finished P7, I put my first choice in Lira Town College. Then I got second grade. By then they were just grading the total, not the aggregate. I got 155 when I was in second grade. And then I went to Lira Town College. They admitted me. I stayed there for 1 year. The second year, there was a war of this Tanzania.
One of the war of Tanzania. You're talking about the 1972 Idi Amin war?
Yes,
Ah, okay.
when they were chasing them.
Yes. How old were you?
I was even big, but I cannot remember the year.
Okay. Continue.
Then from there, things were worse. There was a man who was a pilot, took me at their home, up to Yam. I stayed there, but the lifestyle was not good. The man was ever beating me, and then from there, I went back to my parents. I stayed there with my parents. The man did not follow me.
This man you are talking about, you refer to, was your husband.
He was my
Had
husband.
he married you?
He married me.
Okay. So you
10
are
heads.
traditionally
I'm married.
and legally married to this day?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not legally married, but I was married by that man
Yes.
up to now.
Okay.
I
And
was
he
only
was a
married.
pilot?
He was a pilot.
How did you meet your husband?
I met him in Lira Town when I was in Lira College. I went back to my parents in Western Isle because the man was beating me so seriously. Then from there I stayed for almost 10 years with my parents. The man did not follow me, but I heard that the man was dead. I went there to see the burial place, and I got that he was dead. He was dead it was truly. I have one daughter with him, yes. The girl is married in Koboko by a certain Kakwama. Then from there, I came back here. I started business of pineapple. I pick it from Ruiru. I came and sell here in Noya. And the business was so good, I get a lot of money. There are seasons when they are not there. There are seasons when they are there.
Yes.
So I decided to come in this village to look for a garden for hiring.
So you can grow your own pineapple now?
Yes, I can grow. I came here, I started digging. I started with rice. I dug 2 acres. I got a very good sack. I got 20 sacks. By then they were buying at 100 a sack. Mm-hmm. I sold the rice. So I saw very many children here in this village who don't go to school. I said, I asked the parents, I was asking other parents, when I open a school here, can the children come to my school? Then the other parents were saying, yes, we can come. Then I went to the sub-county. I went there asking for the permission. They gave me the permission. They said the most important thing, you have to go to the DO's office. When the sub-county agreed, I came and made these local houses using grass. I rented the place.
Here in this
Here
village?
in Godmu.
Yes.
The house I rent is still there. Mm-hmm. That Mabati house. Mm-hmm. I was working with those Mabatis as my office. Then I made a structure using grass thatched house. The children came. 5 of them only. I was teaching them myself. Then when they go home, they say something reasonable. Then people started saying, this woman maybe she's doing a very good thing. Then the children started coming. The children came up to 70. The school was K1, K2, K3. And from there, the children started learning. They can count 1 up to 20. They can do each and everything. You greet them, how are you? They say, I'm fine. What is your name? They tell their name. How old are you? They tell their age. In what class are you? They tell their class. Then their people started.
But wait, Nyamungu. Jaja, you were in senior 2 in 1972. The war came, you dropped out.
Yes, I dropped out.
You didn't finish.
I didn't.
Where did you learn all these things? Because in a senior 2 in this country, it does not look like a person who can do something reasonable.
But our senior 2 was really powerful. Mm-hmm. Even our primary. These days, primary doesn't speak English. You go to this government primary, you cannot say anything. But during our year, things were so good.
Tell me about it.
We were taught in English throughout, from P1 up to P7. But these days, I don't know what the teachers are teaching. And yet the primary teachers are degree holders. Some are degree holders. Me, who is not a degree holder, I can teach a child better than a degree holder. I'm even proud. I cannot fear to say that one.
Wow. Well, this story is a big story. We are talking to Ellen Nyamungu. You've all seen Ellen Nyamungu. We talked about her. The story of resilience, the story of how hard work pays, the story of how you can turn around your life when she has given you the lemonade and give it the sugar or the honey. Let's go back to Nyamungu.
When I was planning to open a school, some other villagers were saying, I'm looking for a man. If not, I want to steal their children. If not, I want to steal their money. But God knows what I've come for. I said, each and everything of mine is known by God. Nobody else can know what I have come to do here. Mm-hmm. Mudding that grass-thatched house, I was doing it by myself. I just look for somebody.
You built it by yourself?
I built it by myself. I just look for I just look for somebody who can put me the trees and put the
by trees you mean the poles?
The poles, yes. I mean.
Ah, okay.
Somebody who can put me the poles And then he put the elephant grass. And then I started mudding it myself.
Where did you learn all these things from?
I learned from my village. All these 5 classrooms was done by me. I just look for somebody to put me the structure, and then mudding, I do it myself.
So let's go back to 1972. You were telling us how you built. I asked you, said this education was very good then. Today, it is not the case. And you talked about your husband being a pilot. Was he also affected by the war? Do you think he was beating you because life was difficult? Or what happened to him? Why do you think he changed?
That was his lifestyle. When I went to him, I got that he has left 3 women. So I was the 4th. If those ones can go, what of me? I also left.
So, we are now talking about the school which is leaving. 10 years down the road, the school is here. Senior 2 dropout has built a school. Tell us about your dream, more about your dream and what happened and how you feel today.
My dream, as I told you, was just I will have a school in future. That was my dream. I will bring the teachers who are educated, who are teachers from colleges.
Why very much education? Why did you want to build a school so much?
I want education so much.
Why?
For you here, you're educated. That is why you came here. You think somebody who is not educated can come here among you?
Tell us, we don't know.
Even last time I told Stefania, she asked me, Madam, why are you so much involved in education? I said, education has brought you from America up to here. If she were not to be educated, she would have not come here.
That is very true. So,
and I want my children to be educated, my grandchildren.
When we talk about this, Ellen, we want to just go to that moment where you say you love education so much because education gives people enlightenment, and when people are enlightened, they are able to move. Your dream almost died in 1972. 10 years ago, you woke your dream up and you're living today. What reminded you so much about your dream when you are 50 years old to start it?
I was talking that at least I should do something before I die.
And selling of pineapple, what happened?
I was looking for money to open a school when I was selling pineapple. And I did it.
Did you ever grow pineapple when you came here?
I haven't.
You said you planted
rice.
Where
I got the money.
Would you say that the rice that you planted was better than the pineapple that started?
The rice was not better than pineapple, but this land here is different from that land of Luel. When you plant pineapple, it cannot come here as well as the one of Luel. And for the pineapple, you should get the suckers. Then you plant the suckers.
Okay. Let us go to the story of the school many years down the road. Parents doubting you, parents telling you, and people saying, no, she has come here to look for her husband. She has come here to steal from us or to grab our land. Today, do they still look at you the same way?
Some are still looking at me in the same way. And some really appreciate with me.
Where do you see your life, Nyamungo, from today? We wrote some questions down here. Who is Nyamungo Ellen? Why did you come to this area?
I came to this area as a farmer. That is why I said I got 20 sacks of rice.
And you sold?
And I sold.
Okay.
And it brought me where to open a school.
Okay.
I think this is number 3.
So number 3, what were you doing before you started this school?
I was selling pineapple.
You were selling pineapple? Do you think you've answered that question?
Yes.
Anything more you want to say?
No, about that?
Yes. No. Okay. Let us go to question number 4. What really inspired you to start all this? I know we've talked about it.
Inspired me.
The word inspired means something that gave you the hope to start. Something that was driving you, that keeps driving you to
that
do these
thing
things?
which was driving me, I got very many children in this village who just at home, they also abandoned. The parents doesn't know where to take them. That is why that thing brought me to open a school.
Okay. Your school is very near the government school. And it is a private school started by senior to drop out from school, which will always be your dent, because technically they will expect you to go through the school and you go to teachers college, teachers training college, then you come, then they say Nyamungo qualifies to start the school. But right now, they will always say she dropped out but she started the school, she's successful. If you had failed, they will say Nyamungo has failed. But because you are successful, they don't know where to place you. I want you to tell us, what does that make you feel like?
When they will tell me that I did not go to college,
Yes.
I should leave school,
Yes.
or do what? But the school is still there. If they say I did not go to college, I always get the teachers from the college. For me, I'm just a director.
Yes.
I'm somebody who has brought something and bring those who are educated to work in it. As if somebody who opens a drug shop and that person brings a doctor or a nurse for the work.
Where do you get all this knowledge and wisdom from, Ellen?
Mostly from my parents. Then the school added more knowledge on me.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your parents as we now come to the close of this interview?
My father was a road overseer. I don't know whether you know.
A road overseer, road inspector, yes.
My father was
Back then they used to call them the road overseer.
Yes.
Now they are called the road inspectors.
Yes. My father was a road overseer. He also fought in the Second World War.
Your father fought in the Second World War?
Yes.
Did your father also fight in the Second World War, if you are watching this interview? If he did he raise a girl like Nyamungo, who is changing the world today? We've heard of the stories of those who fought in the World War, but we don't know how. Are you aware of what happened? Did your father ever tell you what happened?
He did not tell me, but he told me that they went and fought for Second World War. But what happened there, he did not tell me.
What about your mother?
My mother was just a poor lady. She even doesn't go to school. She told me that their father was telling me that ladies should not go to school. But most of the brothers were educated.
What does that make you feel like today, that your mother didn't go to school because the tradition then stated that ladies or women or girls should stay home and get married?
I even went and asked my grandfather. Said there was no money, but my mother doesn't know anything. But we were the one teaching her English. She can say too late, spare part. When you come late, she said there's spare part of food there, you go and eat.
And so you will have the spare part of food.
Then I go and get the spare part
of food that you eat.
And I eat.
Is your mother still living?
No, my mother is dead and my father is also dead.
Yes. We want to know from you. Years have come and have passed. How old are you and what is your experience? What kind of experience has life taught you that you can share with us now that you run this school?
I'm 62 years old. I was born in 1961. The experience which taught me is education, not any other thing. My parents taught me, then education added more experience than my father's experience and my mother.
Life journey experience as Ellen, the things you have been through in life, how you have learned from them, and what are these experiences if you are applying them in this school today?
There are very many things I've experienced in this world. I suffered a lot when I come to open this school. Very many things happened in my life. I was renting. Even the owners of the house can't come. You get out from my house. And yet I was praying. But now at least I have my own land. I'm now free.
You bought the land?
I bought it.
How big is your land that you have a dream of building a serious school?
My land is half acre, starting from behind here up to the main road.
Do you have plans to expand this?
Yes, I have.
Tell me about your plan to expand this.
I want to expand the school. The school should reach up to senior 4. That's my plan. These P7s who will sit here, I just take them here in my school, not to go anywhere. That is my plan.
Why would you want to keep them here? Do you have a plan? Do you see any danger, or you want them to continue?
I want them to continue here.
Tell us a little bit more about why you want them to continue here.
So that the government know who my school is. Because without getting first grade or second grade, the government doesn't know you. After getting first graders or 2, 3, they come immediately.
Wow. Well, we are talking to Ellen Nyamungo. That's the first episode of Ellen Nyamungo, the lady who received power from Mandulis Energy up in Gotmu in Noya district. In this episode, we talk to Ellen about her experience, her life, and where she's come from. The story leading to the school. We will be continuing with Ellen on the story of how the school received the light. Ellen, the first time you met Mandulis, what happened?
The first time I met Mandulis, they called for us for the meeting. We went, they said they are going to bring light. We cannot believe. Is these people telling the truth or they are deceiving us? We shall see. We waited and waited and waited. Then Mandulis came with the poles, with everything, bringing each and everything for us. We are now happy. I want to thank Mandulis very much for what they have done. That is why my children, I teach them about Mandulis. They made a rhyme yesterday, I think you heard.
What do you want Mandulis to do for you besides the light? Or anybody who is out there, what do you want them to do for you, for this dream of yours?
I want them to add for me more classrooms, if they can. But they should not also get tired with me that, this madam is ever disturbing us.
Mm-hmm. What about those well-wishers who will see your story? What would you want to tell them?
I have made a pit latrine. Even building that pit latrine is fitting me. Up to now, I'm talking. The parents have brought their children, but without school fees. Some only brought the registration fee. But there are very many children, there are almost 140.
So, if they don't pay school fees, doesn't your dream die?
My dream can die if they don't pay.
So what are you going to do?
There's nothing I can do.
There has to be some ways for you to go beyond them not paying school fees. What are your plans on how to sustain the school?
I will just call them. Last year, they left a credit of 800, which was not paid up to now. And they have brought the children again. Some used to pay. There are some who pays. And there are some who just brought their children and then they leave. When I add the school fees to read, because they used to pay 80, the primary, and then the nursery 70. When I add the school fees at 100 this year, most of the parents took their children.
So is there any plan you have to tell parents, to help parents, to educate them, to make sure that they see the value that this school brings to them? Because there has to be a means to the end of how you sustain your school.
I give them advice, but they cannot have. If they see the thing is now hard there, because when a child goes there, a child cannot understand. Then they will start to bring the child back here. That is what they do.
And what do you tell them when they come back?
When they bring me money, I welcome.
And when they don't bring you money, what happens?
When they don't bring, they take to primary school.
But it has failed in that primary school and they are now coming back to you.
That is why there's nobody who is educated here. Because the parents are not serious. They just go up, down, up, down. They are confused that there's no money. You see, the bad thing in this place, what I see, they are used to free things. They want free thing so much. As Mandule was brought there, they thought that that thing will be free forever. And when you will tell them to start to pay, they will just leave it. They will not pay. You will also witness. When you bring something for paying.
People want things for free.
People want.
Why do you think the people in this community, or most of them, want things for free, having been settled here for some time?
They say that it is because of the war.
Okay.
That is what they say. When the government is bringing something for them, the thing should be free. And we have a happy center. I think you know what a happy center is. It was brought just here at the sub-county. And I'm also a member there. They brought a school, a nursery school. They also want that nursery school to be free.
That is the epicenter and the strategy development that we see the sign leading to this road.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
They want that thing also to be free.
What would be your advice to anybody who is watching this video, whether parents here or outside? What would be your advice to them?
If there is a well-wisher, let them come and help me where I am. If they have that heart, because they have seen everything. I think they have seen everything. They have seen me. Everything is out.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. This interview has come to an end. This is Ellen Nyamungu, the lady who runs the community school she started in Gotungu in Nuoya district. The second series of this will be powered by Manduli's energy on documenting on how we can get this school helped and how we can get people to come here and help this lady build the school to help the children who live in this community. My name is Eddie Okela. My job is documenting people's lives and thinking for people. Do you have a story? We will come.
Imagine yourself, imagine your future self. Imagine the road you want to take. Imagine the house you want to build. And when I say house you want to build, is who you want to build yourself to be. Just imagine. You can even touch your heart, because that's where everything starts. Imagine, imagine. What is it that you want to change? Is it about how you are interacting with your parents? Is it about mental health, by the way? Just take 1 minute, just 1 minute. Just imagine. Your thoughts are just so many, going. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not, so many ways you talk to yourself. And you become your worst enemy. In the beginning, it might be hard because you are used to just coming off your bed and you say, you know what, I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good. You speak things to yourself, but you have the power, by the way. Just imagine. There's greatness in you. Imagine. Do you feel you don't matter? Maybe you're the last child in your family and you feel you don't matter. You don't have a voice. But you do. You are someone of potential, someone of worth. When we talk about mindset, we're saying, how do we see ourselves and how do we see the world? Because it's all about you. I know Teenage years, I'm not the easiest one. I was also a teenager. So equipping you to see things a bit differently. That you are in charge. You are in charge. You're no longer a child. You are in charge, you are responsible. You can carry your own weather. You can impact the lives of others positively. You can be a happy person, by the way. Many people think as a teen, I have to be so grumpy. But you can choose to smile. You can choose to get up of your bed and say, you know what, I'm going to be happy today, regardless of what's happening around me. I can choose to have conversation with my parents instead of deciding I'm going to fold my hands, I'm not going to say anything. So this is really why we are here, to grow. I'm also here to grow. So I'm hoping in these 3 days that we will all learn from each other. So let's do a quick check-in this morning. So you are here, you are taking the 7 habits of highly effective teens. I hope you all know that this is the course that you are taking. It's a 3 days course. We will make it as interactive as we can. But we need you. We need you because it's a dialogue. It's a dialogue. It is a time to share. It's a time to grow. I as a mother, I as a parent, I as a sister, I also have areas that I want to grow. So I need you. The reason why we do this wisdom circle is that every one of you has wisdom. So 1 is being proactive, taking initiative, being in charge, and saying, I'm in charge. I'm responsible for my life and where it's leading me to. Number 2, I want to start with the end in mind. So where do I see my future self? And then you walk the path for it. You do those things that will matter to that vision coming to pass. So it's habit 3. We see habit 4. When you master the first 3 habits, the first 3 habits are personal habits. It is me. Then from me, I move to us. So think win-win is a mindset of abundance, of mutual benefit. Every time I'm interacting with people, I interact with people with an abundance of heart. Then we have habit 5, which is seek first to understand and to be understood, which is the habit of communication. How do we communicate with each other? So those 2 habits are we. And then the 6th habit, which is the habit of creative cooperation or collaboration, that habit is now, it is we. How do we come together? How can 1 + 1 become 100? So through creativity, through abundance of heart, remember you have to come with an abundance of heart. How do I, when I come with you, I come to work with you, I synergize, I do something even better than what I thought I could do on my own. And then 7 is the habit of renewal. When you work hard, when you manage your time well, when you take initiative, what can you do to renew your body, your heart, your mind? All those things that we do as individuals creatively to resource ourselves. Do we read? Do we walk in nature? Do we speak with friends? Do we connect with others? Do we laugh more? How do we laugh more? Because the more we laugh, the more we connect, we're actually nourishing our souls.
You need to begin with the end in mind. You have to be able to put first things first. You have to be able to think win-win. You can't work with a friend if you can't have I think, win-win attitude. No. What is your highlight for that day?
One is always have a state of mind on when to say yes and on when to say no.
Today I learned that when you plan, for example, if I have a whole week and like I'm stressed because I have so many things to do, I can put the urgent things and I do them first, then I have to go to the not urgent things, and then
I also learned like how to plan with a week. It can be like daily planning or weekly planning, and then also like setting your goals.
You have to be a good listener when someone is talking.
And also I've learned to decide after having that courage of saying no when I'm meaning it.
I need to prioritize the big rocks, the important things, before the smaller things that aren't that important.
And then what falls in quadrant 3 or 4, you can push later because it's either not urgent or not important.
What I learned was to try and create a win-win situation so that everybody's idea would be included in some sort of path or participation.
For me, I came up with this. I will influence those around me, be kind and compassionate to get people to have diverse mindsets and a great sense of independence.
The top of one mountain is the bottom of the next, so keep climbing. What I'm basically saying, today they have given you the best 3 days, but you probably look like you're on the top. Keep climbing, because when you're on top of one mountain, you see the bottom of it. It's very easy to fall back. In other words, it's very easy for us to forget about these 7 habits of highly effective people we've learned and go back to our old ways of doing things. Not so? I summarize this for you by saying something very important. When people were speaking here, never forget to be confident when you have a chance to speak. No one will ever tell people anything better than you can tell people about yourself.
Kampala Capital City Authority, the entity appointed by the Parliament of Uganda to be responsible for the day-to-day operations within Kampala, the capital city in Uganda, has over the years embarked on various initiatives and projects to better the living conditions within the city. One main area of focus for KCCA is water and sanitation, especially in vulnerable urban poor areas.
I'm Alan Koronziza, and I'm the program manager for the citywide inclusive sanitation program in Kampala. Kampala is a city of over 1.5 million residents who double during the day to over 3 million. Out of those 1.5 million residents, we found that 1% of those actually don't access any sanitation facility whatsoever. So they commonly use methods like the flying toilets that I'm sure many of us are aware of. We also found that the majority of the residents live in informal settlements. Actually, that's about 60% of the city's residents live in informal settlements. These are settlements that are not planned. These are settlements that are congested as a result of that. These are settlements that have limited access to basic services and utilities. We also found that when these toilet facilities fill, over 50% emptied the contents into the environment untreated. And a similar percentage number just abandoned the toilets altogether, and because of space constraints, actually joined the group that didn't have any access to toilets. And when we looked at what happens to these toilets when they are filled up, that was also another telling story. We found that only about 23% of these facilities get emptied safely when they are filled. So what that means is that we have a whopping 67% of our waste from these toilets that is either stuck in the communities where we live, or that is emptied or disposed into the environment untreated.
Yeah, my name is Senablia Francis. I'm the head teacher of St. Peter's Primary School in Zambia. We are actually very grateful to Kampala Capital City Authority for having identified us to have an improvement of sanitation in this school.
KCCA identified fecal sludge management as a key area to focus on as far as water and sanitation is concerned within Kampala.
Before we got the assistance from KCCA of sanitation, we had toilets, and these toilets were insufficient because we had 29 stanzas in all. So when KCCA came in to help us, we were able to get more facilities. In fact, the number came to 82 stanzas, 56 for girls and 26 for boys. These include also urinals. We also had a benefit of adding more facilities of washing hands. And our school was the pioneer to have a unique facility we call the washalots. And these facilities reduce on the use of water because very little water comes out when somebody is using the facility.
In a typical scenario or a traditional sense of the service, the way the service is accessed, we had communities that didn't have any information at all about how to access sanitation facilities, where to get them, and who would provide them. And for the communities that did, they reached out to one key member within their communities who then linked them to the service providers in the communities.
We went detail about Weyonje. The facilitators were good. They taught us what is Weyonje. We went as leaders so that we bring the message to the community.
Last year, KCCA initiated the Weyonje app as a way of improving sanitation service delivery in the city. Members were given out smartphones, and we started using that app.
So with the GSMA funding, we've been able to invest in mobile-based applications that help to link communities with the service providers. The same applications help the service providers know how they are delivering the service so they can actually increase their efficiencies. And the same mobile applications help KCCA understand where is the service being provided, where is it not provided, so that KCCA can reallocate the resources to the areas where the service is not being accessed very well.
Okay, we've got a new job and is having a septic tank with a flush toilet.
KCCA has taken a number of steps to address this sanitation challenge, which include, but not limited to the following: the setup of a call center to provide information to population, and secondly, to link them to service providers. And now, with active involvement of the private sector-led interventions, things are looking up. And it's not just KCCA's commitment to a better Kampala and the strategic partnerships that is transforming fecal sludge management issues within the city.
So what we're seeing over a space of 1 year, when we've started this approach of using the technology to actually address this service chain, is we're seeing a 20% increase in the amount of fecal sludge that is actually being evacuated from the communities. So we're actually seeing more toilets being emptied. We're seeing more service providers actually being employed or called upon to provide these services. So this GSMA funding has been very, very critical. It has been very helpful in actually tightening or linking that part of the service chain and ensuring that a citywide service is actually being delivered.
The whole program, I can range it, it has been a success by 95%, because initially we were operating in a very informal way. Everyone was in his own. So we got trainings, we started companies. After starting companies, KCC and GIZ started also to legalize the sanitation business. Now members have licenses, have acquired KCC environmental service permit. They have recommendation for national water that actually every fecal sludge you collect, you have to dispose it at its facilities, and the NEMA license, which is the last license that is required in rendering this sanitation business. So the whole process, at first we saw that maybe KCC has come to kick us out of the business, but we were far short-sighted. But in the due course, in the process, we saw that KCCA want to shape our final destiny in this sanitation business, because we are given the priority such that we can comply with the city rules and regulations. If we fail, then they get other people to come and take over sanitation in the city.
My name is Faizo Kiwewa. I am the founder and the artistic director of Bayimba. Welcome to this year's edition of Doa Doa 2021. As you're all aware, we skipped our 8th edition to the 9th. Don't blame us, the world did skip a year, and so did we. Since 2008, We have organized festivals, trained stakeholders, and championed a performing arts market that has helped local artists to level with the rest of the world and the region. That's how Bayimba has contributed to the vibrant arts sector in Uganda. This edition of Doadoa is thought to be a special one, quite different from the previous years. We are running it for 3 months, from May to July. Once a week, we'll host a speaker and one artist for 30 minutes. We are going to learn everything we can about them. Curated to give a glimpse of the performing arts industry, starting from right here, the future space for the Bayimba Center for Visual and Performing Arts on Lunkulo Island, to the Reykjavik Opera House in Iceland, India, Chile, USA, and South Africa. We are going to meet virtually with our friends, some of the most amazing game changers from around the world. They are going to tell us about their spaces, their initiatives, the opportunities, and the possibilities. We thought this edition of Doadoa will take us around the world, and we think we owe our audience what others have got to offer, and hopefully they could be inspired. And our second speaker is Mark Ball from Manchester, the United Kingdom.
Hello to everyone at the Bayimba Foundation and welcome from Manchester and Manchester International Festival. I'm Mark Ball, the Creative Director here at MIF, where I'm responsible for working on the festival, but also developing the artistic programme for the factory, which is something I'm going to talk to you about a little bit later. And it's really wonderful to be here today, albeit by video. The history of Manchester International Festival is really tied in to the history of Manchester. Manchester is known as a city of invention. It's where the Industrial Revolution started, and ever since then the city has been making new things, from it being the birthplace of the trade union movement to the starting point of computing. Manchester is always about newness. It calls itself the original modern city. And so when the festival started in 2007, it really wanted to respond to that and to create a festival that uniquely would focus on new work. So everything that happens in Manchester International Festival, which happens every 2 years, has its world premiere in Manchester. We give an invitation for artists to be really adventurous, to come to the city, to try out new things, and to show things here first before taking it around the world. And we're particularly interested, with that spirit of invention, in really pushing the new. So much of the festival is about bringing artists together from different forms, different traditions, together into a collaborative space so that they can really test out new ideas and create new types of theatre, dance, opera and visual arts to really try and think about and imagine what the art of the future might look like. So the festival takes place every 2 years. It takes place across the whole city of Manchester. But at its DNA, at its heart, is the creation of that new work that I talked about, with artists from different forms coming together to create really, really new and exciting things. And just to give you some examples to illustrate that, recently we worked with the amazing Oscar-nominated actor Riz Ahmed to create a project called The Long Goodbye, where Riz really wanted to create a piece of work that looked at the impact of racism on immigrants into the UK and brought together not just his form of acting and theatre, but brought that together with dance, with visual culture, with digital culture to create a truly unique piece. More historically, we invited the amazing actor and director Kenneth Branagh to reimagine what Macbeth might look like in a beautiful old abandoned church in the heart of Manchester, creating a really epic but very intimate performance that allowed Kenneth Branagh to really play with the form of theatre making. Another landmark Manchester International Festival project, and one from its very first festival, was Monkey Journey to the West, which was a collaboration between the Chinese director Zhen Zizhen, the pop musician Damon Albarn, and the illustrator and visual artist Jamie Hewlett. And together, they brought a whole new perspective on that very traditional, legendary story of Monkey Journey to the West, really bringing together the traditions of Chinese circus, choreography, design and popular music to create something that felt entirely new, that started life in Manchester and then went and travelled around the world. And to bring us up to date with a more recent project, we worked with the grime artist Skepta. Skepta was really wanting to try and create a new experience for audiences, a much more intimate live music event. I think he was fed up with playing gigs where audience members would watch him by holding up their mobile phones and would watch him mediated through a screen. So he wanted, as I say, to create something that felt much more immediate, much more intimate. So we worked with him to create and design an incredible set, to work with technologists, to build this visual world that Skepta created on this beautifully designed stage, with only a few people, 1,000 people crowded around him, to create again an entirely new type of live music event where mobile phones were in fact banned. We took them off the audience at the start of the gig. So the Bayamba Foundation asked me about the sacred art forms of Manchester, and I guess if this city is defined by one thing, other than perhaps football, it's designed by music. This is a city that has given birth to a hugely great musical tradition that actually goes back, over a century, from the establishment of the Halle Orchestra. We now have the BBC Philharmonic Orchestra here as well. But more recently, really since the 1970s, an incredible explosion of popular music in the city, from Joy Division, New Order, the Stone Roses, Oasis. Manchester really being a cradle of great musical talent that's gone and been exported around the world. So in terms of music, which has really been at the heart of the festival, we've worked with some of the great artists from across the UK and from around the world. Artists like New Order, who I've referenced earlier, but we got them to actually collaborate with the visual artist Liam Gillick to really think about what a collaboration would mean for a live music event that brought together visual arts and music. We worked with Bjork, but again asking her to do something new, to imagine what a Bjork experience might be like in virtual reality. We worked with Abdou and Mariam, bringing them to the Whitworth Art Gallery in Manchester. So music has always been a really integral part of the festival, and it's one of the things that will really drive the programme in our new home, the Factory. One of the things that Faisal asked me to talk about were the opportunities for artists from East Africa to engage with the festival. We've had a tradition of working with artists from across Africa. I mentioned Abdou and Mariam. We're working currently with the South African choreographer Greg Makoma. And actually, really excitingly, we're developing a long-term relationship with the amazing Homecoming Festival in Lagos, a festival that celebrates the best of Nigerian and West African design, art, culture, fashion and music. And we'll be bringing that to Manchester in this year's festival as a start of a longer-term relationship. And we'd love to work more with artists from East Africa as well. And we're always open to ideas. We're always open to collaboration. So please, if you've got ideas for what you think might work in the festival or relationships that you think you might want to build with us in Manchester, please just get in touch. We really do want to be open to new ideas. So I'm going to end by talking about two really exciting things. The first is that in a year which we've all faced huge difficulty and huge uncertainty, we're absolutely delighted to be able to present another edition of Manchester International Festival this July, made and created through all of the difficulties and all of the restrictions of COVID. But we've worked hard to pull together artists from the UK and some international artists to create a really special moment over the first 18 days in July in Manchester, a moment that will bring people back into the city, that will allow them to congregate and to reflect on the year that's just gone, to think about what's happened, but also, importantly, to really find moments of collective joy, something that I think we've all been longing for over the past difficult 12 months. And finally, the thing that I'm actually working on most is the Factory. The Factory will be Manchester International Festival's new year-round home. It's being built right in the heart of Manchester, and it will give a year-round invitation for artists to be their most adventurous. where we'll be able to provide artists with new commissions and new opportunities to present their work, not just every 2 years in the festival, but now in an incredible new space, every day of the year. And I'm thrilled that we're only 18 months away from opening the factory, and it's a really, really unique space. It's a space where we're going to invite artists to be their most ambitious, to make work of scale. I was incredibly excited the other day to be able to go for the first time in over a year because of COVID onto the factory site and to stand inside that building and to have seen it develop and grow, which I've only been able to do virtually or by looking at photographs, but to see it in the space and to understand its scale and its possibilities. This really is an incredible building that's going to allow artists to create hugely ambitious work of scale in a purposely designed building. So we're really excited about the potential for artists from all over the world to come and be their most creative, not just in the festival, but in the factory as well. In July, we really look forward to welcoming you to Manchester, whether that's in person or online, and you can catch up with lots of things that are going on in the festival via our website. There'll be a lot of work that's shown online. So if you can't join us in Manchester, please do log on and you'll be able to engage with performances and all sorts of activities and really get a sense and flavour of the festival. So I really do hope that you join us then. And as I say, we really are open to great ideas, to great conversations about how you might want to work with us. So please do, at any time, get in touch. Thank you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of Doa Doa 2021 virtual docu-series. As you've heard from the amazing speaker, now you're going to get to know the artist. This week's In Focus artist is Jemima. She's one of the greatest performers of this country, and that's why she got herself the name The Gladiator. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy.
I'm a Ugandan. I'm a Ugandan. Nyoma nyoma emirimu tolina wona kalimu kokola okay kulela ngaloli monna Uganda wana bachi nyoma nyoma mukamabo tolina
ndimu na Uganda nenyumiririza nyomwecho njagala nyonze ndimu na Uganda ensi yange nenyumiririza nyomwecho gemazima. Hello everybody. Welcome to Doa Doa. I'm called Jemima Sanyu. I'm from Uganda, Kampala. Yeah. I'm a singer. I started doing music when I was still a very little girl in church. Jemima, people call me the stage gladiator. You can't see that now when I'm talking, but when I get on stage, I become furious. Yeah, I have this energy, I have this passion, and that is what makes me a gladiator. It's like a battlefield when I'm on stage, but I don't do it alone. It's not normally with a team that I work with. What has been my musical journey from childhood? I would say it wasn't an easy one, but my mom kept on pushing me. My mom was a singer in church, in a Catholic church, and she used to sing with us at home. Every time she would get moody, every time she would get happy, she would just make a choir. She had a choir of 5 little beautiful babies, and I was the firstborn. So most of the times, if she wasn't taking the lead, she would tell me, Jemima, please take the lead. And there was some simple song that she used to sing for us. Holy, 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 holy. So that grew, it grew in me. I grew up singing every day. We used to sing every day. So after, from home, I would go to school. Trust me, I was always in choir 24/7. Church, I was always in choir. I was in the worship team. I was singing in a church called JCC, Ginger Christian Center, way back in Ginger. When I went to university, I did something different. That was computer networking. I did a short course. Yeah. Then I tried to look for jobs around. Things failed. So that is when my husband came in. My husband, producer Legend P. He told me, but Jemima, you've tried everything and things have failed. Why don't you try singing? Why don't you take it to a professional level? You know? So I got in touch with his brother. His brother, actually two of his brothers, producer Henry Chiuwa and producer Steve Jane. So they kept on pushing me. They kept on helping me. They gave me training, and I ended up this professional singer. We also started a band. It was a very simple band in the beginning, but later on it kept on growing. I got to meet people like Mr. Faizo Chiwewa. He has really been a great man in my journey. So many people, but Mr. Faizo Chiwewa has really done a great job. I've worked with people like producer Henry Chiuwa, producer Legend P, producer Steve Jane. Actually, it's in the family. And my brother, producer Big Nash.
I give it to you. Give me love, then I give it to you. Give me love, I give it to you. Big Nash, Jemima, I give it to you. Hey!
What motivates me? There is a lot that motivates me, but mostly it's the people around me. The people around me. If you hurt me today, trust me, I'll write a good song about pain. Seriously. If you show me love, you know, if you hug, just a hug is enough for me to write a song. Yeah. Politics at times, you know, where I come from, it's just the daily life, the things that I look forward to as a musician. There are so many. There are so many. I kept on saying, oh, I want to be bigger than Angelique Kidjo since I was a little kid. I want to be bigger than this lady who sang Malaika. Malaika, nakupenda. I used to look at such women and they used to motivate me. But I wanted to be more. Up to now, I still want to be more. Even when you look at my performances, trust me, I'm more.
Katinze nawe tuseye yenga mayengo naguno mukwano kutumbire nga kavera baby nze nawe tuseye yenga mayengo naguno mukwano kutumbire nga kavera musangali musapatu natalina ya dele chikopo nebakola wa munebe zimbe mbela nechuka besubiza ngebiri pure ngabayitana babiri paya.
Seriously, Jemima Sanyu believes in God. First of all, I grew up in a godly family. We used to pray every day, morning, evening. There was a time I had to leave home. We had some issues, you know, how families, you know, my mom had to separate with my dad. They had to separate. And they took me to a pastor's home. Trust me, we would pray every day. So that really made me grow as a person, spiritually. It really helped me in the way I behave, treat other people. Yeah, in everything that I do, I have to make sure people see God. They see God. How do they see God? By doing good. Doing good. So I believe in God. I grew up in a very terrible family, you know. My dad was very, very, very tough. He used to beat us almost every day. Every day. Imagine every day, even without any reason. He'll just find you there sitting, doing nothing, and he'll just ask you, what are you doing? You know? And in case you didn't have any answer for that, he would beat you to death. He would make sure he first sees blood coming out of you. So that really brought pain, you know? It brought pain into my heart. Not me alone, even my siblings. Every time I open up my voice just to sing, I run away from all that pain. That's why I give it my all. That is where I get the strength from.
Najua tuliyokosana mimi na wewe, yeah. Hakunipa nafasi nikueleze ilianza je na iliwaje, na hawezi ona the truth in my eyes. The old me, they got you blind. Hey!
How I was brought up, the pain I went through just because mom and dad were not happy together, you know, and I had to suffer, you know, and being the firstborn, I had to make sure I'm in between these wars, you know, in between mom's wars, dad's wars, the in-laws. It was always chaos, chaos, chaos everywhere. So it really made me grow into this strong, you know, strong, understanding, reasonable girl, you know. So, and up to now, I still feel the pain, you know, because it's hard, yeah? It's hard to see your mother somewhere different, your father somewhere different, and it's you who has to, you know, keep on pulling them together. You know, no, we have to do this, we have, you know. So that really drives me, you know. So every time I sing, I just run away from that pain. Actually, I normally don't talk about this story. This is the first time it's coming out. It's the first time. But I really love people. So every time I'm performing, I just want to spread that love out of me to the world, you know, out of me to the audience, out of me to everyone watching, out of me to the little girls, you know, because I don't want people, I know people have different challenges, they have different families, they have different parents, you know. Some of us were not lucky, but trust me, many of the girls have not been lucky. So what I normally do is I don't want to bring that pain to them. So that is what I normally do. I just spread the love. This is a special song coming from Jemima Sanyo. I want to dedicate it to everyone watching Doa Doa. It talks about love that cannot just go away. Broken love, tears, scars. But you know, you have to keep on holding yourself to that person, you know. And I would really want to dedicate it especially to the girls, to the women who have been through who have gone through what I went through when I was growing up with my father, my tough, tough, tough father. Because I still love him. I still respect him, you know. He's my father. I can never get another father. Okay. This love is so tall, it gets us high, we touch the sky. These tears and the scars are too strong, they rewind the time. This love is so tall, it gets us high, we touch the sky. This tears time ni wanafaa kubadilisha ilianzaje iliwaje. Jemima loves Beyonce. I love Beyonce because of her energy, her performance, her voice, you know. She touches my heart, you know. I would really feel good to perform with that woman, you know, having that Ugandan energy, joined together with, you know. I love Beyonce. Actually, even when you check my gallery, it's full of that lady. Her photos, her videos. I just love Beyonce. I won't specify that this is the kind of stage that I want to be on, you know. I just want to give myself room. Whatever comes my way is what I go with, you know. I just have to keep on being hopeful, you know. The stages are too many. There are too many. But trust me, whichever stage comes my way, trust me, Jemima can tear it down. Uh-oh. Is the world ready for me? It has to be. Am I ready for the world? Come on. I'm ready for the world, you know. During the COVID-19 season, actually it was a dead year because most of the venues where we were working from had to close down. The hotels, the restaurants, the bars, you know, the stages, Bayimba, we didn't do Bayimba, we didn't do Doa Doa. It was a lot. And there were some tours that we normally went to. They were all closed. Everything was shut down. What I decided to do was turn my energy to the studio, you know. So we recorded songs. I have songs like Bandage, Njagala Bandage, you know, and it's my husband, the producer, who produced it. I also have songs like Give Me Love, Give Me Love. That was my brother, Big Nash, who produced it, you know. So far, I have two producers working on me, Legend P and Big Nash. They're really putting in a lot because they know what I can do. And they love me, you know. They want the best from me. And I really appreciate that, you know. Where can people find my music? My music is everywhere. You can go to YouTube, I have all the videos there, all the audios there, all my social media platforms, you know, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you know, SoundCloud, everywhere. Trust me, we try to put all the music out there for people to listen.
Thank you so much for joining this week's show, Doa Doa 2021. I hope you had some fun and got some inspiration. If you have any comment, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave your comment, or our Facebook page, Twitter or Instagram. We'll definitely get back to you. We are very grateful, and until next week, I remain your host, Faizo Kiwewa from Bayimba and the Doa Doa team. Keep it Doa Doa 2021.
An army of sheep led by a lion will beat an army of lions led by a sheep. That's a pay. Yeah. So let's be very honest about this thing, and really understand that you need to understand where you lie and where you fall. So it's very important for us to understand that leadership has to be definitive. You can't be laissez-faire. It has to be definitive. You have to be strong, just like a lion. You know, when a lion meets an elephant or a buffalo or whatever, The buffalo and all these animals run away. And yet, by the way, they are stronger than the lion. They are heavier than the lion. They are more intelligent than the lion. They are taller than the lion. They run away. The lion, because of its attitude, it sees lunch. That is a leader.
Mr. Tenetra, thank you very much for coming to the CEO bench. And I want to ask you, so if you were elected the President of the Republic of Uganda today, what would be your first State of Nation address? Now, as you look into the camera and close the show.
I think my first State of the Nation address would first of all to... I think I'll just close it there.
I was so excited seeing many of you enduring pain. Many of people here come to run for different purposes. Others are running because they're fighting a disease. Others are running because they're fighting weight. Others are running because they are contributing money to their families. So it is important for us to cheer everyone. The people of Kasese, I want to thank you for being extremely welcoming. You have shown the spirit of Uganda. We are Uganda. We are Uganda. Let me tell you, we have 33 nations represented today. Our first marathon was 2022. We had 800 runners from 4 countries. Last year, we had 2,200 runners from 17 countries. This year, we have 3,600 runners from 33 countries. Next year, we hope to have 7,000 runners from 50 countries. That's our commitment to Kasese.
building Africa's future.
Africa's talking.
When we first started the summit, the first day was they taught us about UI UX design. That's something you never do at campus unless otherwise. So the project we're working on is designing a UI and a UX of a USSD application. And that would help users always to get current market prices. So that is what we have been doing and what we look forward to enrolling it shortly after this summit.
I've been able to collaborate with different developers and learn more that I'll integrate it in my journey as a junior developer.
It has really been so amazing, and me taking part on the very first event has really been so great. So it has been so amazing, and I'm glad I was part of it.
My entertaining session was with Sylvia when she was talking about women in tech, and that really inspired me to pursue more.
It's very important for junior developers like me and fellow developers out there that if we get a chance to attend these events, we should attend them so that we can get more information from people who are above us so that we can be guided in the right path.
The most exciting thing and the session I had during the summit was the first thing I need to talk about this, like meeting Sylvia. I see a young lady talking to us content about this thing called Africa is Talking APIs, and the content she was giving us was really so amazing. So the first thing I loved so much about this was getting to meet her and getting to see her, the passion she has for African women and tech. It has really been so amazing, and yeah, I love that a lot.
My key takeaway of this summit is to be swift in running projects. However much you have a lot on your plate, you can still run them, whether in a group or as a person.
So my takeaway is we need to collaborate, and I'm looking forward to reaching out to most of those devs to see how we can collaborate and work together to build Africa. And I'm looking forward to being one of Africa's, entrepreneurs. And if it sparks from here, that's really so amazing. Looking forward to it.
Every day you wake up in the morning, what inspires you to do what you do?
Mostly when I wake up in the morning, I pinch myself because I think a lot of us in this life are trying to figure out what it looks like to live our best life. And to me, it's having a sense of meaning and purpose, and that I am working every day with a group of people that inspire me towards a purpose that I think is the most important in the world, and uses my unique gifts and talents to help push that forward. It gives me a sense of meaning and enthusiasm and energy that I think a lot of people don't have access to without that strong sense of purpose and the ability to focus their attention on that purpose on a daily basis. So I just feel extremely lucky.
This Africa is Talking Summit 2024 has actually been of great impact to African development, because this is a tech summit where young developers in our developer ecosystem have had a chance to interact and learn from the industry experts who actually understand where the development in technology, especially in Africa, is headed. So it's presented them an opportunity to now go back and build solutions that they've actually identified the gaps during this summit in technology. These solutions will be brought to the marketplace, and they'll be able to now solve a lot of these problems that we experience in Africa.
This summit has really been amazing, just looking at how it has brought people from different organizations, different backgrounds, just coming together to create new ideas, build new technology for Africa. That alone shows that we are working towards the best and I am looking forward to what is to come.
For me, it's about answering the needs of Africa. And as Africa is talking, we are trying to support the innovations that will answer this problem. So we are at the point where we are positioning ourselves to help developers to be able to innovate to solve those problems. So this summit has brought together experts from different fields, different countries, and different expertise. So it's been a very engaging session where we have experts, we have people who are learning, a lot of networking, a lot of exchanges, and yeah, it's been amazing.
So I believe the Summit 2025 is a place to start and encourage the young people, the people at the lowest stage, to grow and build for Africa.
I know definitely it may not be in Uganda, but it will bring together a bigger group of developers and industry experts and even business leaders and entrepreneurs.
I think the tech industry is going to grow huge. I think in the next 5-10 years, we are going to have amazing stuff. We are going to have things that we have not seen before. And I'm really excited because I am seeing what the young minds are coming up with.
So just based on how this 2024 summit has been, I can't wait. I know it will be bigger, it will be better, and it can only get better from here. And we are looking forward to even bringing in more experts, more developers, more partners, more customers in the next session. So you should plan to be there.
Basically, innovating for Africa means that we are coming up with new ideas to make Africa better in the future.
As Africa is talking, we are looking at innovating around just answering to the needs of the people of Africa and ensuring that Africa is growing to where it needs to be.
To me, I look at it from an opportunity because with the software engineering, they have ability to really build solutions that will innovate Africa.
Hello, welcome to yet another episode of You and the Law, the COVID edition here on House of Talent Television. This show is proudly brought to you by Legal Hub Uganda in partnership with I4C Africa Hub. You and the Law is simply what it states. You and the Law, we explain the relationship between human beings, between us people, and the law, because the law guides every aspect of our lives. This particular edition of You and the Law is dedicated to COVID-19. How has COVID-19 affected our human rights? Over the last episodes, we've tackled different human rights that have been affected by the pandemic. Today, we look at children. How has COVID-19 affected children's rights in Uganda? What are the issues that are emerging because of COVID-19? And as far as children are concerned, what do we need to do to protect children in these hard times? With me in studio is Ms. Sarah Awelo, the lead counsel for GBV at the Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity. Sarah, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How have you been?
Oh, I'm okay. I've been fine. Well, COVID gave me some rest.
Yes. And in terms of work, because I know a lot of things have changed over the years, how has it affected your work life?
A lot of things have changed, yes. Sometimes you work from home, but being legal, it is hard to fully work from home. So you have court, home, in between. Sometimes you're torn. Is it today we are going to have court online or we are going to stay from? Then it's hard to meet your clients. You just see them via the video link.
Yeah, it's a crazy time, but hopefully things will normalize. You come from UCLF, the Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity. Perhaps for a person who could be hearing this for the first time, you could give us a little bit of more information about the organization that you work for.
Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity is a membership organization. It's a legal aid. We provide legal aid to people who could not afford money or any amount of money, especially family, land matters. We also provide legal aid to the children, juvenile justice. So we have all that. Then we also handle GBV, gender-based violence programs, mainly in Kayunga. Yes, so we are those places.
So your services are completely free?
Our services are free.
Oh, interesting. And in terms of the name of the organization, there's the Christian aspect of it, and somebody could be tempted to ask, are your services restricted to only a particular group of people who subscribe to a particular faith, or it's open?
No. We handle everyone. Everyone. You see, everyone is a child of God. So we handle everyone as a child of God.
Yes.
We believe we are missionaries, and we are doing that by working, helping people in the legal in a legal way. So for us, maybe we may not stand on the street every day to preach, but we shall go to court, we shall fight for people's rights every day.
Okay.
Yes, that's how we shall preach.
I think it's an interesting approach, to missionary work by providing an actual service. And so today we're talking about COVID-19 and how it has affected our lives, and we're specifically having conversation around children. But perhaps before we delve into much detail, we could try to understand from you, before we even talk about the law, what is this whole idea of children's rights? So why do they matter? Why should somebody lose sleep over rights of children? What's the value of children's rights?
You see, children are, all of us were once children, and children, let's say it's the future of the nation. Okay, that's how it's sung. Children are the future of the nation. But how do we build a nation with broken children? So we need to protect these children so that we have a strong nation, we have a better future. I think that's why the rights of children have to be protected, so that we may have a better nation in future. Yes.
So children represent, a
nation.
The nation, and from a futuristic, I think it's a very interesting angle to this. But then now we move to talk about children's rights. As you've explained, children are the future of the nation and we should protect them. Is there a law that provides for that, or is that just your wishful thinking? Where do we derive the mandate to talk about children's rights?
The rights of children are protected by our Constitution, the 1995 Constitution as amended. Then we have the Children's Act. Then there are those conventions, the international conventions that Uganda decided to sign and be a part of. We have the 1985 UN Convention on the Rights of Children, and then the 1990 African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. So all that are some of the laws that protect children that Uganda ascribes to.
Okay, but in terms of then what exactly do they actually provide for? Like, what are those rights? If you do tell a random person that these are children's rights, what could be examples that we can share?
Well, they have a right to live with their parents or guardians. They have a right to education, a right to practice the religion they know, a right to, yes.
Very important for UCLF.
Yes, very important. A right to shelter, to medication. They have their rights. Yes.
So, but then if you move further and talk about those rights, whose duty is it to provide them? Because, there's been a lot of conversations around, in Africa, parenting children is a societal issue, but then you're discussing it from a human rights angle. So who bears the obligation to ensure that actually these rights are protected?
See, in Africa, the children are for the whole village, but okay, currently it's changing. Those days it used to be, I think, the days of our parents, but currently, who protects the children apart from their parents? Sometimes even the relatives do not protect them. So we have also the welfare officer, like the government decides to put in place institutions to protect them. For example, the Secretary for Children's Welfare in the local council. We have also the Family and Children's Court where we could run to when their rights are been infringed on. We have the probation and social welfare officers. We have the district probation and social welfare officers. We have all those people to protect. But really the main, it is each of us, all of us as individuals, even the children themselves, they should protect their own rights.
Some people argue that children's rights fall under the broad category of human rights. I mean, there's sort of a subcategory of human rights, and there's this talk about you need to respect, protect, fulfill this right, which is put on the state. I don't know from your experience working this, what does actually respecting children's rights mean from the angle of the government?
Let's say the right to live with your parents. What should the government do to help children to make sure that that right is respected? Parents, one thing government should also do is help the parents have income or have something to provide for these children. Because when they start saying then we have a right to be given proper food, right to clothing, we have medical care and a home, if the parents are sleeping on the streets, then how will these rights be given to them? So I think with the government, it has to start with the parents. The parents should be given the ability or should
conducive environment.
A conducive environment to provide and protect the rights of these children.
Okay. And then in terms of the fulfilling this right, some people argue that it's important to have laws, policies in place. I wonder how Uganda is doing in that context, from your experience as a child rights advocate.
Well, we have very good laws. Yes.
On children issues?
On children's issues,
okay.
We have.
Run us through them.
We have the Constitution, the Children's Act. They give us very good laws toward the rights of children, the obligation, how to ensure that they have proper health, education, mental, physical, and moral development. And our issue is implementing those laws, and then also do people know those laws. Right now we are talking about the laws, and we are here in Kampala with an upper class talking about it. But what about that mother in Kayunga who has all those issues? She has no idea, maybe even that the children have rights. For her, her work is to see them live every day. I got a saying in my work with the people in Kayunga when they said that children grow anyway. Somehow they will grow.
They will
grow.
Yes.
It's hard. Even our crops and then children's right mean the basic needs that a child must have to ensure and then children's right mean the basic needs that a child must have to ensure his or her proper growth and development. I look at it, proper growth and development.
Proper growth and development.
It's relative. That's relative. Because and a child will say, for me to have proper growth and development, I need Cerelac. The other one will get up and go to a mango tree and look for those small mangoes that have even not yet. So it's relative. And it's even under the Act we say, they have their obligations. So sometimes we go so much on their rights.
Yes.
But see, they also have an obligation. But like they said, obligation for them to go to school and be obedient while at school. But a child to go to school on an empty stomach, unless he or she knows that at school.
So let's then switch gears, because we're discussing children's rights. Then switch gears, because we're discussing children's rights, but specifically in the context of COVID-19, which came and really, forced our government to do so many things, and most of them really had a bearing on children's rights. So I'll sort of start from that point. When you assess, when COVID-19 came, what are those actions that government of Uganda took generally, and then perhaps later we can discuss how those affected children's rights.
When COVID-19 came, I know the government was trying to protect its citizens, that's its work. Then it closed schools, it closed places of worship, and then there were no places of leisure were also closed, and it brought all that. It was good. They wanted to protect everyone from COVID-19, prevent death. That's their work. And it has gone on. It's now 2 years. It has brought a lot of
problems.
Mental.
Yeah. Let's go for a quick break at this point, and perhaps when we return back, we'll have a deeper conversation around the effects of COVID-19 on children. You're watching You and the Law, the COVID edition here on House of Talent Television. Today, we're discussing COVID-19 and how it has affected children's life. Right. Let's go for a quick break. We'll be right back.
That governs it. If you're married, for example, even if you're single, there could be something touching on the law, because you might be in your bedroom with an underage girl, or you might be with another person's wife. You know, all the things are the law. You know, when you jump on the border, there is law. When you're driving, we're talking about traffic. You know, if you go to a restaurant. And the right to food.
Yes, yes.
You know?
That's an interesting one, because I remember in the first lockdown, people were like, you know, I'd rather die of COVID than die of hunger in my house.
Yeah.
So, tell us. Welcome back. This is You and the Law, the COVID edition, here on House of Talent Television. My name is Jonathan Ocho, your host. Today we're discussing COVID-19 and how it has affected children's rights. And with me in studio is Ms. Sarah Awelo from the Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity, popularly known as UCLF, at least among the lawyers. So Sarah, welcome from the break.
Thank you.
Yeah. So before we went for the break, we started the conversation around COVID-19, the actions that government took to curb down the virus, and how it has affected children. You started from the angle of education. I'm actually started from church, understandably, because you're from UCLF. So we could carry on the conversation around some of the other aspects that COVID-19 affected for children's rights.
Yes, for example, now when the schools were closed, for the private teachers at home, and there are these children who have been seated at home. I remember one time I was in Dokolo, and we asked the children. I was in Dokolo, and we asked the children. They came and told 100 of those ones, they should be in jail. That's how it should be. Then there are those early marriages, parents who have married off their daughters. So those ones are supposed to be in jail somewhere. So sorry about that. They're supposed to be in jail. Why? Because they are not protecting these children.
They're actually committing criminal.
Yes, they're committing more offenses. So for me, as I see numbers of girls getting pregnant, I keep wondering, are also that same number or more in jail because of the crimes they've committed, you know, and then there are those ones of child-to-child sex, and in my head I'm like, have they cancelled those ones? But you see, in Uganda we don't have those counselling services. The probation officers are overwhelmed also. But again, who cares to go to the probation officer to report or ask their child, like, oh, come and counsel, my child has been going through this. I'll give an example. In Kayunga, one of the boys was arrested for defilement. So I meet with this girl. In Kayunga, we handled, our work is mainly like with the state, with the state attorney. So I meet with this girl. I ask her, we talk. And she was like, no, I just want him to be cautioned. I'm like, are you sure?
Wow.
You want him to be cautioned, and then you want to go back to the same group. It needs a mindset. It took me, took us like 3 hours talking to her. And then I told her, so what do you want to become? She actually wanted to become a teacher. I'm like, so now when you get pregnant, how will you become a teacher? Because you'll have a child to look after. But for him, he'll have to continue with his education and what. After some thinking, he was like, I need him to be kept away for some time so that my mind can rest.
Yeah.
So we need a total, okay, what COVID has brought has destroyed the mindset of children. That's what I believe. And we need a change in the mindset of the children, that it doesn't matter when schools are closed, you can still get a book and read. But where will they get the books also from? The libraries,
are closed.
Public libraries, do we even have them deep in the villages?
I mean, even in Kampala.
Even in Kampala, it's countable. And who goes there? Remember, there is no travel. When they closed completely and not moving everywhere, who will walk to come and get a book for the child to read? So we've had, COVID has brought a lot of negativity, I would put it, in the lives of the children. There would have been some positive things if
closed. Yeah. Sarah, you raised very, very touching, stories, which I know you've picked in the course of your work, and it's really chilling if you ask me. But I want us to have a conversation around the measures that government put in place to curb down COVID-19, and I'll ask you, how child-friendly were those measures? What's your assessment of, so for example, you're hearing of distribution of food, you're hearing about online learning, you're hearing about all these things that they put in place. How child-friendly, or what's your evaluation of those interventions? Let's start with the positives. What do you think worked? Yes, what do you think worked?
There's a positive, like thank you for the dozen to the village. You see, there is the village school. Then there is the village school. You get?
Yeah.
Even in the village, there's a town and there's a
then
village.
There's a real village.
Yes. So there's that village school. Did it reach? Do those who don't even have clothes to put on, can they afford a smartphone? Can they sit and listen to UBC? Where will they get it from? I think it would have been government would have just built a community place where, and I know the government was trying its best to provide for its citizens, and it tried, but maybe we need proper structures in the communities. We need the LCs to give us proper structures in the communities to say these are the number of children we have in the community, but these are their age brackets. So that even when the government is providing something, food, it's providing things, like during the COVID times, it knows that in this particular community, we have this number of children, these are their age brackets. So let's say between 15 and 17 or 18, these ones, let's provide them with, apart from sugar and what, I think they need pads, or they need this. So the government tried, but it had some up and down.
You talked about, food, milk. I was about to ask you if some of your relatives in Dokolo benefited from it, but perhaps that can be a conversation for another day. But Sarah, now you work a lot around juvenile justice, and I thought we could sort of pick your insights as well from the angle of juvenile justice. How did COVID affect that area? Because I know even before that, children already were having conflicts with the law. And like many people argue that COVID just came and worsened the situation. I don't know what your views you have around that area.
The juvenile justice and children Then the most children ended up going on the streets during this COVID time. They left school, they started looking for money. And I don't know how many will go back to school. We have parents bringing children to the organization for us to counsel them, because when they tried secondary, opened a bit the other time, the children didn't want to go back. Because now they were making money.
Oh, on the streets.
On the streets. Some of them, the parents took them to the garages to learn something, so they felt they have enough skills.
They've arrived.
They have arrived. They don't want to go back. And you find the parents crying, saying, let them go back for some medication and what. So there is that loophole going on, that we need more guidance for the children at this particular time in this COVID-19. We are still in COVID-19 times. Yes. We are still in. And then what I've seen, there was a lot of violence in the homes and abuse in the homes. First of all, there was violence between the parents, but their escape route was school. When school got closed, they got entangled in the violence with the parents, and then they became the escape route.
Oh, for venting their anger.
Venting the anger. So they got all the pressure was thrown on them. They were beaten. When the mother again will blame, it's because of you, that's why I'm staying. So the child goes, no. Then the child is left. I remember one, Enoch, I won't give the other name, decided to even run away from home.
A child running away from home?
Yes, and he's 10.
Oh dear.
And then we had to counsel him. By the time we got him using police, he said for him he's tired of the work at home, it's routine, and he wants to also start going and playing with his peers. But the parents are saying, no, the peers go drinking, and what, we don't want him to be a part of that.
Which is a fair point.
Which is a fair point, but I think for him is like, I'm tired of being in this thing, but
four corners.
Four corners, and he comes from his parents drink also a lot and what, so they leave him with all the work. So he said for him, he's tired of the work, he rather goes on the street and vent for himself.
Sarah, some of the stories you're sharing are, quite chilling. Viewers, you're watching You and the Law, the COVID edition here on House of Talent Television. Today we are discussing children's rights. How has COVID-19 affected the rights of children in Uganda? What do we need to do? How do we protect children further during these extraordinary times? Let's go for a quick break. When we return, we'll give a sneak peek into the future. How do we get out of the mess that we find ourselves now from the angle of protecting children? Let's go for a break. We'll be right back. About the right to food,
Yeah, so that topic will also be discussed. As we all know, it's one of the rights which is internationally recognized. So we need to delve and try to understand what that right entails, Does it mean that the government should bring food and put on your table? Weekly updates, kind of. So what happens is, at first there wasn't an interpreter. I don't know whether there is one now,
It's been a while.
Yes, so there was a complaint that even the president's speeches were,
There was no sign language, conversation, an impactful discussion around this,
Well, thank you. So each of these topics is going to be packaged, in almost a similar manner, So we'll be starting with the foundational issues. For starters, if we say we're going to discuss the rights of children in this country, we do not want to attack it at a higher level. We want to start by making you to understand that who is a child,
Welcome back from the break. This is You and the Law, the COVID edition here on House of Talent Television with me, Jonathan Ochom. Today we are discussing children's rights and how they've been affected by COVID-19. And with me in studio is Sarah Awelo, lead counsel for the GBV program at the Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity. Sarah, welcome from the break.
Thank you.
So we need to sort of look into the future. You've clearly given us really chilling accounts of the different situations children find themselves in because of COVID-19 and the different initiatives that, that government has tried to do, as well as parents. Now we need to think about anything that could happen 5 or 10 years from now, because we're not sure when the virus will come to an end. We don't know if anything else could emerge in future. So as a country that calls for preparation. So now I'll now ask you, looking at what the government of Uganda has done, what lessons do we learn from this intervention, from the angle of protecting children's rights? And perhaps later on we shall talk about recommendations. But what do you think we learn from our current intervention, our current experience trying to protect children amidst COVID-19?
What do we learn? We need everyone in the society to stand up, like to really get together and form a relationship. Doesn't matter the political party, whatever. We need to, religion, we need to first put away differences and come together and say we need to fight. We can't even fight COVID because we don't know much about it. But how do we protect people? Yes, they're saying immunization, but the children can't be immunized. And I was looking at children living with HIV, AIDS. During that lockdown, how were they getting their medication? It was hard. Then there were those children with cancer who were told to go back home. And then it is later that they started trying to get doctors on motorbikes to go and deliver the medication. But see, when there's a break in their medication, it brings more it brings more issues. And no one talked about the children who died during that time because of medication, not having medication in time and what, or who have fallen back in their things. So we need to learn to have a standby. We have to have community, maybe say there are paralegal, paramedics in the communities, and these paramedics should reach out to it should be in every parish, every village, we should have paramedics, so that if something happens like this in future, we have our paramedics already to reach out to children, children with disabilities, children living with HIV, AIDS, even the normal children when they fall sick. You see, moving was that you have to go and get permission first. But if we had paramedics in the villages, it would be so easy. We wouldn't have this fallback a lot. And then maybe we should, even the parents who are not dedicated, I know they can teach math somehow. They would teach in the local language. Math can be taught in the local language.
1 + 1.
With the stones and what. But maybe we should try and get teachers and pay them more on how to reach areas. They're saying paying the scientists, but also the art teachers. Because these art teachers are the ones going to teach English to the scientists.
And they need English to pass science.
They need English to pass science. So we need the art teachers also. But if we could pay them hard to reach area more money, just because they are in those communities, maybe build for them proper housing facilities, so that even when this happens, we have teachers who will go reach out to villages to see that the children are listening, or the children are studying at least twice a week. If a teacher appears before a child and they go through some of the it refreshes them and tells them, stay with this, next week I'll pass by. So we need that to keep people to reach out to stay in the communities.
What of in terms of juvenile justice, in terms of keeping children safe? From the law, ensuring that, you know, their rights, you talk about violence at the family level, you talked about environment and kind of things. How do we, in future, what do we need to do to ensure that if we find ourselves in this situation, this is how we shall protect children against sexual assault, for example?
We need to empower our local community, our LCs. And also first we need to empower the children. Do they know what the bad touch is? We were just trying to teach them before they went to lockdown. Where do they go? Do they know where to go to? Most of them are threatened after defilement. They're told, don't speak, or else we'll kill you, we'll kill your family. Then some of them, like this one who said, I was told to go, and they told him, you stand outside, we are going to give you a TV. But these thieves were coming to rob the grandmother. Oh dear. But they told him, we shall give you a TV where you'll watch every day. You don't have to ask permission or what. So they entered in the house for him. He stood to see that no one comes in. And then in the process, they killed the grandmother. Oh. So it was during the burial that he kept saying, but this one was the last to, these people entered the house. Then they said grandmother has died. So they're like, how did you know? So he gives the story. So he was arrested and told to go and tell these other people, take us to these people. So all the other co-accused were arrested. And maybe he was charged with murder.
Oh, the child?
Yes. Because he was in the whole chain. But he couldn't understand it, you know. But, and he kept saying, most of them will call you auntie. Auntie, I didn't do it. I'm like, yes, you didn't do it. I didn't kill. I'm like, yes, you did. It is those ones, they entered. But if we could empower our children and tell them that they have this obligation. Yes, they have the rights, but they have the obligation. They have obligations to respect the society, respect their children. They have obligation to do work at home. They have, we have something we expect from them, even if we are giving them rights.